Hi guys, I'm Mark and today we're gonna create a grab system like Portal. So we use line trace channel and functions and more, okay? So it's a very easy tutorial and let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing to do is basically to create a blueprint class, an actor, and you want to create BP Grabbable Object, okay? You can open it. Now, when we have it, simply add a static mesh, okay, basically our mesh. And for this, I will choose, for example, okay, for this case, I will choose a cube, okay. You can select the default cube, it's not a problem. Compile and save. Now you must change some settings in the physics, and okay, so simulate physics. And also, if you go here, yes, in the collision presets, okay, it must be physics actor, okay. Also in the tags, you must add our tag that is basically grabbable, okay. This is important, okay, so check this. Okay, so now we can close it and also go in content drawer, basically in our first person, blueprints, and our character. Okay, so we have it, we are in the event graph, and now we can create our variables. The first one is all the component, that is basically a static mesh component, okay. And after this, we want also to add some variables. The second one is all distance, it is a float. The third one, you can duplicate it. So the third one is basically our grab distance, okay, always a float. And the fourth is throw force. And the fifth is basically our is holding, so it's a boolean, it's a question, okay. Compile save, and now we can modify the default value. The first one is basically 250, the second one is 300, okay, because it's the max distance. Throw force, I will choose 50, and is holding, I will choose like false, okay, by default. Now we want to add a function, okay, and this is basically TraceForGrabbable. Okay, so of course we want to create a line trace by channel, so basically like a laser that hits something, okay, in the world. Okay, get first person camera and get world location of the camera, and this is basically our start position, okay, it's a vector. Also the forward vector of the camera, and we want to multiply it for a value. That value is basically our variable, so basically our grab distance, okay. And so you can colligate it and also do an add operation, because you want to add this to our get world location, okay. And of course the result to go to the end, okay. Choose ignore self, okay. And with this, we want to simply check condition, our return value. So basically when line trace hits something, okay. And do a break it result, because we want the component that we hit. Because we want to check if that component basically has tag, okay. And that tag is basically our tag, okay, the grabbable tag. So the return value of that component go in a condition, our branch, and we must control it. With this, because basically we want to get simply return, okay, some values. The first value is a boolean, okay, it's basically if the function has a success. But yes, you can get it there, not create it after our branch, but get it there and simply move it. And yes, in reality you can simply don't use a branch, but use that return node, okay. So if the component has tag, the success is true, otherwise it's false. And not only the boolean, but also the out it And with that, basically we have finished with this function. Okay, so go and create in our content drawer, go in input, action, and create, of course, input action. Okay, you can search it, and I will call it AI underscore grab. Okay, and of course it's pressed because it's I will press a key, okay, and trigger an event, trigger an action. Go in mapping and add this action, so AI grab, okay, and I will choose for the key simply E, okay, but of course you can choose what key you want. Okay, so after that you can return to our character and simply call our input action grab. Okay, basically when it's trigger, okay, we want to check a condition. So colligate the trigger, okay, to a branch and check our is holding, okay. So basically we check if we are holding that, okay, that object. If it's not like that, we want to do a TraceForGrabbable function, and if that's success, we basically continue. So we break out it and use our component to simply set our audio component, okay. But before doing it, you want to do a cast to static mesh component, and after that you want to set it, okay. And also set another variable that is holding, okay, because after that basically we hold an object, okay, so basically the state change. Organize a little bit, and now we want to set simulate physics of our component, but not only this, we want also to set collision response to channel, okay. So basically we change and we try to ignore the pawn, okay, with the collision of the object, so the object ignore the pawn, okay. And also set enable gravity, we want to set it to false, okay, so disable it practically. And after that we can compile and save, and now okay, we have done everything for that input action, but in reality we want also to create another function that is our release object, okay, and this we will create it later, but now we can call it to true, okay. So basically when we want to release the object, because we are already holding the object. Now we can create an event tick, and with this basically we want also to check the same condition, okay. So basically if is holding, so get it, and with this basically if you are holding that object, you get camera location, okay, get world location of the camera, not the socket location is important. With that, get forward vector, and we simply do like the same thing, okay, but in this case all distance, not grab distance. We want to do an add, of course, and basically add the value of get world location. This result go in our vinterp2. So basically we want to interpolate to vector, okay. The current is the target is what we created, and the current is ld component and get world location, okay. You choose a velocity of like 15, okay, and for the delta time we use basically delta seconds of the event tick, otherwise you can get delta time. Okay, after a little bit organization, we want to set world location. Yes, you can click it but in reality not a capsule component, it's a old component target. Okay, we can colligate it and always organize a little bit. So it's important to click on this sweep. Okay, so basically you check the collision when you are holding the object, otherwise of course the collision is not enabled when you're moving the object. But in ReleaseObject you can create a branch is holding, of course, and in the true, okay, you want to set simulate physics, and of course not the capsule component but always our held component. Okay, so this is our target, and we do the same thing for set collision response to channel, and of course always spawn but not ignore, but in this case block. Okay, and the third one is of course our set enable gravity. When this is basically over, of course organize always a little bit, otherwise it's a mess. Okay, but after this we can get our camera and simply like get forward vector. Okay, do a simple multiply for our throw force. We can move it. Yes. And simply add impulse. Okay. So we add a simple force, okay, to the object. The target is always our held component, and the impulse it's our vector, and the last thing is our velocity change. Okay, want to check it. Otherwise the mass is important, but we want to ignore the mass in reality, the mass of the object. We want to set is holding to false. Okay, and also set the held component to null. So basically you must add the node like this. Also check simulate and gravity enable. Okay, so we basically return the object to default setting. Now in the content you can simply grab and add the grabbable object in the world, and now we can test it. Okay, so if you're going there and press E, you can see that everything works. Okay, you can move the object in the world and it has collision. Okay, it has gravity when you drop it, and you can see that basically everything worked very well. Okay, so you can of course add some things, add some effects, I don't know, but in reality this is like a basic system in under 15 minutes. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or like, I really appreciate that. And of course if you have some problems, comment below. So thank you guys for everything, and bye bye to the next time.